know about maintenance-free homes in Roanoke?
Stay tuned. Hey everybody, it's Hal Cohn.
And Chris Cohn with Cohn Realty Group.
If this is your first time to our channel, 100th time, or 1,000th time to our channel, and you have not clicked that subscribe button and the bell icon so you're notified each and every time we release a new video about living, working, and playing in the amazing Roanoke Valley that we call home, then make sure you do that right now.
Yes, please do so. And we have friends and family and folks just like you calling us all the time saying they want to move to or within Roanoke, Salem, Botetourt, or the surrounding areas. So if that's you or someone you know, give us a call, send us an email, or shoot us a text. We would love to have a conversation with you and answer any questions you may have.
So today we want to talk about maintenance-free living when it comes to purchasing a home, and specifically a single-family home here in the Roanoke Valley.
Yeah, because there's a few different options for maintenance-free living, but we're really going to focus on those single-family homes. And maintenance-free living is simply just the benefits of home ownership without the full responsibility. So let's talk about that a little bit. We've had some clients contact us wanting some maintenance-free homes, and we'll just describe what that is a little bit more.
Yeah, so maintenance-free gives you the flexibility and the opportunity to, one, have less stress.
Yes.
Because you don't have to worry about fixing some of these major things or taking care of some of the maintenance in general around the property. And then others are like, hey, lifestyle-wise, I'm so busy, I don't want to have to worry about these extra things that come along with a normal single-family dwelling that is not, quote, maintenance-free.
Right, so we'll go through the pros and cons of home ownership and this maintenance-free living lifestyle, if you will. But what we're hearing from most folks is that it's basically out of need or lifestyle. So need would be, hey, I really need to get into a place that I don't have to worry about how to mow the lawn, or maybe it's one level living. A lot of people that get older in their years, they need something that's going to be manageable, so maybe perhaps even smaller in size, downsizing, and they want to make sure that they're going to be cared for without any steps or hazards if they have some mobility issues.
Well, and we've got really smart, savvy people that are coming to us on that front too, and they're doing this kind of proactively.
That's true.
Versus like, hey, I've got to instantaneously, I've got to do it tomorrow, right? They're like, hey, in a few years, I'm going to need this, so let me sell my home now and go ahead and move into a subdivision or an area that's going to give me that home that's going to be maintenance-free living, so that whenever I do get to that point, I'm not having to kind of flail around and do it at the last minute.
Yeah, definitely.
So being prepared.
Very proactive.
Yeah.
I like that too.
Yeah.
And talking about necessities still too, you know, we see folks that just maybe don't even have the skills for home maintenance or desire to learn home maintenance. I know that if I were living on my own, I don't think I could cut the grass, or maybe I could change light bulbs, but I'm not sure I could handle other more intensive repairs, nor would I want to. We'll look at all that today and see why maintenance-free living might be very appealing to you with your next home.
Let's talk a little bit about the pros and cons of home ownership when it comes to actually purchasing a maintenance-free home versus staying in an apartment or choosing to go that route.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you're probably more familiar with home ownership and the pros that you'll see there. You've got financial pros.
Yeah, you've got tax benefits, as well as it's an appreciable asset, so it's going to go up in value over time. You can look at the charts from years and years back, and you will see that is the case, that you do see appreciation over time with one of your largest financial assets when you actually purchase a home.
And then also you have some social benefits as well. I mean, I think about when you're in a community and you've owned that home, you start getting to know the neighbors, you start making it a community. You don't typically have a high turnover rate like you would see if you were renting a place, or you were the renter moving from place to place, or even in an apartment complex.
Yeah, a prime example of that is whenever my mom, which we talked about before a couple years ago, she bought a house in a pseudo maintenance-free area, because they do a lot of the exterior work for them. But anyway, she's grown close to her neighbors in the community with the people that are there, and it's because they are close together and they see each other a lot because they're out and about walking in the community.
Right. Which I think leads me to the other biggest benefit of home ownership, which is that feeling of, that emotional feeling that you get of like stability. We've talked about this a lot, but making it yours and knowing your neighbors and making it feel truly like home, that you just can't put a price tag on that. I mean, remember when we were renting for a while?
Yeah, we rented in the transition from a few years ago, sold a house in North Roanoke County before we bought the house that we're in now. And so I did not feel secure and stable that whole year. I don't know. It's like, it was just a feeling. It's like, this is not my own place. And I guess it's because I've owned multiple homes throughout the years that being in that transition period at this phase of my life and stage, I was not expecting that, but that's what God had in store. And so through the process, you know, it's like, once we actually bought the house that we're in now, it's like, I feel grounded, I feel safe, secure, all that stuff, I think, even as a guy.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, there's, like I said earlier, it's just something about making it yours. Whether you are finally get that vegetable garden in the backyard you've always wanted, or planting those flowers that are from your family, they're heirlooms, or perhaps it's just painting the walls the color that you want. I know for me it was hanging the artwork on the walls. Like that made it feel like our home and not that we were just living in someone else's home. And you know, your own hardwoods and rugs and things, not someone else's. So home ownership has a lot of benefits. Now let's do the flip side, some of the cons to that, some of those drawbacks.
And one of the biggest ones is responsibility. We're adults, we need to be responsible, right? So what do we mean by responsibility? So, you know, when we're talking about maintenance-free living, you know, you're going to have somebody that can take care of the exterior especially. So, you know, home maintenance right on the outside.
Right, and we'll dig into that a little bit more when we dive in, but you know, the exterior really is a lot. So yard maintenance, lawn care, those types of things with home maintenance, I know that we've been a little bit behind. I don't know why. We're not busy or anything, but it does come with a lot of responsibility. You're right. But it is kind of fun to know that it's yours and you're taking care of it. And hopefully you're on top of things and everything is working and looking very nice.
So let's dig in a little to what maintenance-free living means, because it can mean different things in different communities. For example, the community that my mom lives in, they actually have a lower level of service when it comes to their maintenance-free living, because they have lawn maintenance and mowing is what takes place for them, based on their association fees that they pay each month.
Yeah, so it really varies, and make sure you find that out. Make sure you find out what level of service they offer for maintenance-free living, because and maybe you still want to do certain things and you're fine with that, but if you need full service, be sure to seek that out. So some of the services that they provide that we're talking about and referring to are things like yard care and landscaping. So that would be your mulching, your mowing, planting sometimes even, which is really nice. I mean, to think that you don't have to worry about landscaping and weeding and cutting the grass. Yes, sign me up. I'll take it any day. Some other services are things like home repairs, and that would be roof replacement, structural insurance, even siding, making sure that siding is intact and looks really good.
And one of the things I'm going to interject for a second, a lot of these maintenance-free communities have on the exterior, they have brick siding, because with the brick siding, you know, you don't have as much, there's really no maintenance there, right? It's like, get a little bit of algae on there, you pressure wash it off, and that's it. So a lot of these maintenance-free living communities have brick homes versus just the vinyl siding.
Yeah, that's a good point. And we have a lot of brick homes here in Roanoke anyway, so they blend in really nicely.
Yes, absolutely.
And I like the different color bricks now. Like, there's just a lot of different styles and color ranges, so that's interesting. Snow removal, we do get a little bit of snow
or
up
ice.
here. And ice, yeah. So they could care for snow removal along your driveways, sidewalks, roads, things like that. And also pest control. You don't want to think about pests being around your home inside or out, and they do preventative care for those too. So again, you can get a whole assortment of services. You just have to find out what level of service the HOA or the POA is willing to offer. So speaking of that, let's dive right into what is an HOA and POA. You hear those terms a lot.
homeowners association or a property owners association. They're in my opinion, they are intertwined. You know, they're basically synonymous with each other. And basically you pay a certain fee each and every month or annually. And what that does is it provides services for that community if you're in a maintenance-free type of subdivision.
Right.
So now that you fully know what maintenance-free living is, let's talk about the benefits of you having a maintenance-free living home.
Yeah, so again, it's worth repeating. The biggest benefit and advantage is that you're getting those home ownership privileges without the full responsibility. So that pays for itself.
There you go. Yeah, remember that's tax benefits, that's appreciation, those types of things that we talked about earlier in this video.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think one of the things that is most appealing to me is that you can spend time on doing what you want to do instead of worrying about the house and the yard. I mean, that frees up so much time to be able to go and explore or have some adventures or do road trips, or maybe just have a busy lifestyle. Maybe professionally you need to travel and things like that. Having a maintenance-free living house means that you can have that time back.
And when people are relocating here, when they're moving to Roanoke, it's like adventure, outdoors, yes, mountain biking, and those types of things is what we want to do. So having a maintenance-free home is going to give you the opportunity to have more time to do those things instead of worrying about what you've got to do around the house.
And let's talk about the style a little bit more. You know, we haven't really touched on this, but these tend to be newer construction, which is really nice. And a lot of them, I think about patio homes, but that's one story, one level living, and it's built on a concrete slab. It's called a patio home. But there are options for multiple levels. But it's really nice to have those newer construction because, you know, new things are just more fun.
Well, and what we talked about, you know, we're talking about less maintenance, right? So if you've got newer systems, you've got newer HVAC, you've got newer water heaters, those types of things, then they're not going to go out as early on in your time of ownership.
Right. And you don't have to worry about costly updating, right? When you move into a home, a lot of people, the first thing they want to do is change out, say, all the brass fixtures or something like that. You may not have to do as many updating.
That's a great point.
Yeah, thank you. Another thing that I really like, I like the floor plan of a lot of these maintenance-free homes. It just makes sense to me. I mean, we have a lot of traditional homes here that vary in their style, but some of these maintenance-free homes, specifically the patio homes and the multi-level, it's just a really neat floor plan. I mean, more open spaces, which we hear over and over and over again. We want an open concept, open floor plan. You're more liable to get that with one of these maintenance-free homes.
And then lastly, but definitely not least, would be price options, right?
Oh, right. Yeah, wouldn't you like to know how much they cost?
Which is a pro because you've got options. You've got some from the lower 300s all the way up to 500 plus. So, but you know that's the range you could be in when it comes to a maintenance-free style home and community.
Yeah, that's really a good point because when we just ran a search at the time of this filming, there were a lot to choose from just within that. It was 300, I think my search was 300 to 465, and there were quite a lot, and some of them were proposed construction, so you could really be in at the beginning and pick out those fixtures and finishes and all that.
And I think square footage wise too, we had like 1,500 square feet up to like almost 3,000 square feet is what I saw whenever we were looking at those that are available right now during this filming. So if you want something smaller, you can get that, or if you need something larger, you can get that as well.
Yeah, I love that because, you know, if you're single or really want to downsize, you don't have to have a lot of home to maintain. Or if you just want to keep something like what you have, maybe a family home with friends or family coming to visit and holidays, to have that option for other spaces.
Have extra space, that's right, absolutely. Now let's jump into the cons of living in a maintenance-free style community. And the biggest one, because I hear this all the time, is that I don't want to be in a HOA or POA. And why is that? Because there are rules and regulations you have to follow with your property. So like if you want to put a fence up, it's got to get approved. If you want to paint your house, it might have to be approved.
Even some of the trim. We learned. That's another story.
If you want to change out landscaping, it is probably going to have to be approved. So there are some rules and regulations to keep the community looking nice and pristine and uniform. So that could be a problem. And also with that, you are going to pay an additional fee, right? Either monthly or annual. You're going to be paying a fee for somebody to kind of tell you what you can and can't do, and then also to do some of that maintenance and stuff exteriorly, like the lawn, the snow removal, those types of things. So it could be worth it to you, but it is going to be an additional cost that you're going to incur when it comes to your mortgage payment plus additional fee for your HOA dues.
Yeah, you'd have to kind of budget that in, make sure you knew that ahead of time. Something else you'd want to know ahead of time is, again, those level of services. So even though yard care may be covered, it may not cover snow removal or roofing. Or for that matter, keep in mind that most of the interior things that could go wrong with your home, it's not going to be covered by the HOA, by these maintenance-free homes. So that's another thing you would want to budget out and keep that in mind.
Another thing you want to be conscientious of is storage. You know, some of these footprints of these properties may be a little bit smaller, and you may not have the storage that you're used to having in your previous place. We hear that a lot from folks that are kind of, quote, downsizing.
Right.
Well, my bedroom suite's not going to fit in this particular room, right? Well, you're going from 3,000 square feet to 1,500 square feet, so it could be a problem as far as size of the rooms as well as the storage. But you're downsizing for a reason, so you don't have as much stuff, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. And I have seen a lot of great floor plans that have extra large closets. They have some little cubbies where you can store things like holiday decorations. Or, you know what? There's always the garage.
Well, and on top of that, I have seen also on the back patio, but they'll have a little storage room outside on those as well. So let's not forget about that.
Yeah, and you can even have outbuildings. You need to get those approved.
That's right.
Of the HOA or the POA. But storage, just keep that in mind as you're going through the house and flowing through it. So another feature that could be considered a drawback, maybe it's an advantage to you, you can kind of vote this one way or another based on your preference, but is that there's a lot of similar floor plans within these communities, and that is not only interior but exterior. So you're going to see a lot of the same style homes. There might be some variation in the brick color or the roofing color, the shutters, things like that. But if you're looking for a really unique property, different architecture, then you may not find those in one of the maintenance-free communities.
So along with that, you may not have a lot of privacy. So if you're looking for maintenance-free living and like a big, huge lot or something like that, that's not going to be what you find here. So con's going to be privacy because you are going to be close to your neighbors. So you're going to want to make sure that you're okay with that, you know?
Right. Yeah, definitely. Some people really want room to spread out, and others like maybe they feel more secure being next to a neighbor. It always makes me happy to be able to step outside my door and see my neighbors. So that's not an issue for me. So that's another one that can be a pro or a con. There's lots of those based on what you're looking for, right? It's all about your lifestyle and what you want or need in your home.
So if maintenance-free living interests you, your friends, your family, make sure that you do what?
Just reach out and contact us. We'd love to talk to you more, show you some great examples that we have available right now in the Roanoke Valley. You can call us, text us, or email us.